Hello, hello, and welcome back, subscribers and new viewers, to the first Sunday speed paint of 2025, and I'm just going to start off by saying right off the bat that this is the year of doing, not just saying, because every time that I have ever started something, it has gone into a little roller coaster of cycles and spirals and just back to where I started. When I first created my webtoons comic character Vixie, she also was a mascot for my channel, which was a big mistake on my behalf because I didn't have the, foresight that I do now in hindsight and all that stuff to be able to see that separating a character with their own personality and lore and all of that from a mascot for a channel, which is supposed to be essentially me, is very difficult to kind of keep them separated, well, the fact that they are the same character. So, when I was looking back at the old illustrations from about 5 years ago, and even some of the more recent references that I did from a couple years ago, I realized that I didn't really make Vixie in the same way that I would for a character versus how I would for a mascot. I need to work on redesigning and revamping these characters just a little bit. They'll still be recognizable, even with the most recent illustration that I made. For the most part, you can see that they have a mix of digitigrade and human leg, knee, joints, and ankles and all that stuff, but I don't want them to end up on a base. And where I'm leading with this is, when I made my skeleton stuff, when I made this challenge, the fan art fusions of what if this sans was fused with this sans, and created these characters, I used the exact same skeleton, but I essentially was just changing the markings on them, the clothing on them, essentially kind of just like skins in a video game, but it really didn't feel as enjoyable to make as it did when I actually made my own original characters and changed them, be it more magically or changing the heights and widths and basically just the whole silhouettes of them. Even making alternate versions of my character Impact and making fan art for others, I realized that I know that I can produce good illustrations if it takes time and references. I made my own little Bitty Bones sans just for the heck of it with one of those OB11 dolls, and it was so much fun. I made little mini comics with this by being able to have the little bitty sans for reference model if I was struggling, because I don't have the talent, nor do I know anyone who knows like Blender or 3D models or even VR chat models to be able to assist with that, so I had to get creative. I bought myself these little posing dolls to help me with different things and looking up specific references that I could utilize, or just going with my imagination and sketching over and over again until it looked right for me, but not fussing about it too much. When I made this failed mission AU comic of the Bad Sanses and the Star Sanses, I didn't think that it was going to be as many pages long as it was. It was essentially just supposed to be a super quick one to see how many pages I could produce, and I was pretty consistent with it. I ended on a cliffhanger, like I typically do with a lot of my stuff, but I still have the next 7 pages, the thumbnails and the scripts and all of that, in the works. All I had to do was literally just take this, go into my art program, blow up the thumbnails, sketch over it, and just add in the little simplified colors and do it. And it sounds so much easier said than actually done because of a multitude of factors, the time that it actually takes to work on these and setting goals for myself, and many outside sources, if I'm sick or if there's other stuff that needs to be done versus what I want to be done. But I also don't want to take away the joy and fun of spontaneously working on something on the sidelines. It may not make it into a video, but you'll still get to be able to see some of the artwork and process behind it, and sometimes I genuinely do need a break from some of the bigger projects to avoid burnout. Additionally, with everything that I have created, it's not a do or die with these projects. I can have fun with them, and I need to remind myself sometimes to set back, but also be realistic about the goals, that if I genuinely keep all of these things locked into my head, they will never see the light of day. Another thing that I wanted to add into it, which you can probably hear by a few of the little stopping points in my video when I make these scripts, is that I've made the void for a reason, because it is an embodiment or a visualization of a lot of the doubts, negativities, and many other things that will be more for the channel's lore that I don't want to spoil, because there will be videos that I produce about it in more detail and in story times of how the void even was created in the first place. But I get decision paralysis when it comes to making stuff if I have something that is, to me personally, something massive that looms over my head and I tend to overthink things. Essentially, I'm like, oh, I want to work on this project today, and then something pops into my head and I'm like, oh yeah, I need to remember that I need to do this today. Or if I look at something and I get distracted, my brain makes that time management in my head just go completely kaput. So I could say to myself, I'm going to work on drawing Stardrop today, and then 3 days go by and I'm like, what just happened? I didn't do anything for any of that, but I still feel like when I'm working on something, I should be working on something. That's how my brain tends to overlap things and overthink on things. And it's so ridiculous ridiculous and silly because for me personally, once I actually finish something, it feels like the weight on my chest is like, wow, was I really fussing over that 5 minutes ago? Time to go to the next thing and start the cycle all over again. And that is what I've been trying to break for this year, for 2025, where a lot of this stuff I want to start the year with a bang and keep it going consistently. Basically, it's that whole, to be a content creator, you have to create content kind of thing. And I want to have fun with this and share my thoughts behind my process instead of rambling in some of my videos like I used to. I know that it's a chaotic little fun back and forth, kind of like a casually talking to you as if you're my best friend and you're sat on the couch and I'm just info dumping to you, but I also want to give you guys breathing room. Or if you guys actually genuinely do want to know how I do my art process, how I used to do my animations, because believe me, when I look at some of my animations, I put heavy quotation marks around the animations because they are really rough because I haven't learned the fundamentals, the basics, all that. I'm just doing it for fun just because I'm like, hey, I want this character to move. I'm gonna try it and see if I can do some frame by frame, but just for a little segment. It's not gonna be a full animated series or anything. It's just for a little fun idea, animation meme's sake, to show off a fun little idea that I have, basically this animated music video that's stuck in my head that I want to bring to life. And it reminds me of the old days where I used to create these little stories, and I still kind of do this more so solo now, but if I play a video game and I get into the mood of like pretending it's like Dungeons and Dragons styles where I'm just like, this is my character, these are those characters, have them interact, and then I'm like, I want to draw that. That's how some of my ideas just start, from an idea. I'm just like, that's a mermaid, but what if this character was a mermaid or vampire, or like all of these what if ideas. Hence the multitude of alternate universe ideas and possibilities that I've had to narrow down. And where my own original story is kind of stemmed from is an extension of alternate universes from its original source. It sounds super complicated, and it's a fun, weird little wacky thing that I enjoy when I see other stuff, and one day I aim for my content to be that kind of thing, where if I can enjoy my content, and then others can enjoy that content, and it just reaches to the farther, like, algorithms for essentially my audience ends up finding me. That's something that I am very excited for, because with the nearly 1,500 subscribers that have joined along for the channel and my art journey, I hope that I have been improving, not just from my own lens and perspective, because I do believe that my art, my voice confidence, all of that has definitely improved, despite the void in my brain telling me that it hasn't been anywhere near as productive. It has been. And thanks to my friends, families, and supporters who have shown me that the reassurance, not just me telling myself that, yeah, I'm sure I'm doing great, others who have told me, yes, you are indeed, keep doing what you're doing, and it just reminds me to keep sticking my feet hard into the ground and stick to it. Because genuinely, when I look at some of the other content that I enjoy, I realize that some stuff does unfortunately stop the enjoyment after consumption when I try to make it, because there's just no way that I can produce every little alternate universe thought in my head, but I sure as heck will love to try to create all these fun ideas. Hence why I want to work on backgrounds this year, and fun little doodle pages, and just all this fun stuff that I can share with you guys, not just on my YouTube, but wherever I choose to post on many other social media platforms. And although my channel has changed over the years, I hope that there has been more than enough of the adapted consistencies as my art and my personality has been shown a bit more in these videos, because there's a lot that I have had planned that I personally haven't had the YouTube backbone quite hit me yet. There's some stuff that I'm still uncertain of, what I will be choosing to produce and post, and what ends up becoming basically just scrapped ideas. Again, I was going to, like with those sans combinations, make some of that stuff, but there's a fine line where I just have to kind of, like, hold back some of the content and say, this is something that I don't need to make a YouTube video of, and this is something that I definitely want to push out as a YouTube video. So hopefully you guys do enjoy more of what I have in store for 2025, and the wide range of content, considering the mass amounts of stuff that I am a fan of that hopefully you guys will enjoy, and all of my original content that I aim to push out more, so that you guys can see these ideas so they're not all trapped inside my head. Thank you so very much for watching and making it to the end of today's video. Stay possum. That's all the time that we have for today. Thank you so very much. If you have not already, don't forget to leave some likes and comments and subscribe to join the Subscribblers squad. In the meantime, don't forget to check out some of my playlists, and if you would like any fan artwork featured at the end of the video in the Subscribblers gallery, tag me in it. I would love to see what you guys make. And if you'd like to support my works and see more, check out my card link below, especially for the patron exclusive rewards. £2 a month, the Fennec Fox tier gets you access to secret sketches and artwork early. The Arctic Foxes, for £5 a month, you get exclusive access to videos and webtoons pages early, and the Red Foxes have the opportunity to be featured as a background character or a commission instead, and your name read out at the end of the videos just like this. Thank you so much to Frankie Jr. 13. Stay possum, Subscribblers, and I'll see you real soon.